Hello, everybody. This is Subira coming to you from Baltimore with my guests and partners, actually, Tonia Taylor and Sandra Mizell Chaney. And we want to begin the show by saying, first of all, we had some technical difficulties, and the show goes on. So this is one of the things as an entrepreneur and as an innovator and as a creator that often we need to be able to do. And so we are here to bring you your show live. So thank you for being with us. And so let's take this away. We're going to begin this week. We'd like to talk with you about working from your core, working from your root. And all three of us are going to be kind of approaching that from our own our perspectives. We want to deal with keeping first things first, right? Keeping first things first. So I want to begin by introducing actually Sandra because she was out doing some amazing things last week, and we want her to introduce herself and tell a little bit about your business and what you're going to be bringing to these shows going forward. And we'll jump right into keeping first things first, which is the topic of this week's show.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Subira, thank you so very much. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
Good. So I am Sandra Chaney, and I am a transformational strategist, best-selling author, DV expert, but also a conqueror of domestic violence and sexual assault. What I do is also in line with what Subira and Tonia do, which is all about transformation. But my hashtag is always it's an inside job, because I believe in order to manifest the life you want on the outside, it begins on the inside. So if things aren't lining up the way you want to, then we got some work to do on the inside. And I've been an entrepreneur now since 2003. So I want to help you go from the employee mindset to really becoming that business owner, that entrepreneur that you want to be. But we first got to do the work on the inside. So I'm going to be talking about things you can do to actually manifest that, to get to the core, to get to the root, as Subira said, and to just begin to heal, to manifest the life you want to see on the outside in your business and in every area.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that. And I do know that at about a quarter after the hour, you will be headed up to your next thing. As an entrepreneur, we always have things lined up. And this is a very busy woman. When I tell you very busy, both these sisters are extremely busy. So I want to actually give you an opportunity, Tonia, to say hello to the viewers as well. And then if you don't mind, I think we should maybe have Sandra kick off keeping first things first so that she has time to deliver all of the beautiful content that I know she has.
All right, so hello everyone out there. It's an honor to be with you another week of presenting to you Money Charm, the way that we see it and have experienced it as shifts in our lives this week. And we are taking on first things first, because starting exactly where you are is exactly the easiest thing that you can do. So this week we are going to be presenting from our expertise, and I hope to be able to represent a feminine business model which may be practiced out in the marketplace. However, we want to bring, or I should say weave in, a lot of the traditional systems that you've heard about in a way that's creative, that's transformative, and that is really, I guess, empowering for you in your life. So I'm looking forward to hearing Sandra's presentation today as well.
All right, Sandra, take it away.
Wow. So first things first, I think, as Tanya said, starting right where you are. So for me, first things first would be starting with you, the person, because you can't do anything if you're not starting with who you are, defining who you are, dealing with that inner business, that inner stuff, that inner guru that's trying to get out. And what I mean by that is, I know in my life, as a conqueror of domestic violence, a conqueror of sexual assault, being a single mom, being homeless, almost losing my home. I mean, I've been around the block. I grew up in a house where domestic violence was prevalent, but I didn't know how to put me first because I'm the oldest. And as the oldest, it was put upon my shoulders to do everything. And sometimes when first things first to me means putting you first and not really feeling guilty or feeling selfish about putting you first. Because if you don't put you first, then you're going to continue to deplete the cup, because everybody has their hands, their opinions, and everything in your cup, and it's your cup. And your cup should be for you, and what they get is what out of that cup is what's coming out of the overflow. So when you're talking about first things first, start with you. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you have to ask yourself, do you know who you are? Because I didn't for a long time. I was always somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's friend, somebody's wife, somebody's mother. I didn't know who I was. Even in my job, I was somebody's assistant. I was making somebody else's dreams happen. I mean, I had dreams of my own and didn't know how to tap into them. So you got to start with you first. If you're going to be putting you first in this whole new economic reality that we're talking about, you got to start with you. And you need to find you. So what I did first and foremost was I cut everybody out. What I mean by cutting everybody out was I shut down the opinions that people were having of me, because if you don't do that, then you're going to always be about what somebody else wants you to do. I had to stop listening to people tell me what my dreams were and tap in to see what are my dreams. I've always wanted to own my own business. I don't like working for other people. I never have. But I didn't know how to start because of all the things that were going on. What is it that you want to do? And you're not going to know that until you begin to put you first. So you need to stop what you're doing. Sit down for a moment, because you can sit down. Take a moment to sit down and get quiet. Sit down and just get quiet and allow the spirit within you to speak to you, that inner voice, that inner business that we keep talking about. There's an inner guru that's trying to talk to you, that inner voice, that spirit, that God, wherever you call it. Take the time to just look at that, hear that inner voice. And then when you begin to hear, and I know sometimes it's hard to do that. So what I had to do was get in the mirror. I had to do some mirror work. I had to get in the mirror, look in the soles of my eyes. So get in the mirror, look in the soles of your eyes, see who you are. Look deep. I'm not talking about the facial, because we get in the mirror and we see the outer, we see the makeup, go deep into those eyes and see. Look into the soul and begin to see who you are. Look at every part of your body, because I had to do that. And I did that for I can't tell how many times I've done that. And even working with Latanya, and that's the other thing I'm going to say, having a coach, but working with several people helped me to do that. You have to begin to know who you are by first sitting down, getting quiet, getting that inner groove to hear that voice, that not my voice, not Latanya's voice, not your mother's, that God that's within you. Who is that voice? Sit down, because within you, there is someone who wants to get out. There is that man, that woman that is dying to get out and begin to do something. So if I had to leave you with something, first things first, it would be to get with you, to sit down, get quiet, and understand who you are first. Because until you do that, the life that you are manifesting right now, if you're not happy with it, it's because there's something going on the inside, and because you really don't know who you are. I don't care what level you're at. You could be 6 figures. I know sisters who are at 6 figures and still walking around with stuff that's heavy. So you have to really sit down and get quiet and understand who you are first. Get in that mirror and get past the makeup, the earrings, the jewelry, the hair, all that stuff, the clothes, the red bottom shoes, what was it, Michael Kors purse, the Coach, whatever those things are. Get past all of that stuff. Get past it and look at you. Get butt naked and get in the mirror and look at you. That would be my tool. Get butt naked and look in the mirror and look in the eyes. That's my 2 cents. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, y'all.
That is powerful. That is powerful. I have a question for you. That was a lot. Wait, let me take a little sip of water because that was good. That was a lot. Okay, so when we look in the mirror and we go beyond our facial and all of those extraneous things that you were talking about, what is it that the sisters should be want to be looking for? What is it that we're looking so that when we see it, we'll know it? What is it that we're looking for?
You're looking into the souls of your eye. Your eye gate, oh my God, has so much. You're looking into that soul. If you look in your eyes, you can look past the surface and see your soul. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for you, that person that's at, as you said, the core, the roots. That's what you're looking for.
Yes.
That eye gate brings in so much light and brings in darkness and brings in. We take in so much through our eye gate. Our eye gate and our ear gates. We take in so much. So that's what you're looking for. You're going into the soul. You're looking in your eyes, and you're going to stand in that mirror, not for 30 seconds, y'all. Stand in the mirror for at least 5 minutes. At least. We get in the mirror, brush up. No, stand there and get past the soul. There's a little girl in there, and she wants to be acknowledged. She wants to be acknowledged. So get in the mirror and look in them eyes and search for that little girl, because that's what you're looking for. She's the one, he or she, the little girl, the little man, because I'm the other man too, the little girl, the little boy, they're looking for acknowledgement because they didn't get it growing up. So you need to get in the mirror and at least 5 minutes.
I have a question too for the viewer who's looking at this, trying to create a new economic reality and saying, hey, that's all great, but I need some money. How does that relate to a new economic reality for people going and looking in the mirror?
Because everything that you have, I believe, is already within you. You got to know how to pull it out. Everything you have gifts that are waiting on you. There's something that said that everything you have is in your house. So to me, the house is I'm not talking about your physical. I'm talking about your body. Everything you have is in there. So how do you not know? If you don't know who you are and your gifts, you won't know that until you go within. Your gifts, as they keep saying, your gifts make room for you, but your gifts also make money. You gotta know your gifts.
Yes.
Your gifts make money. So you gotta go within and sit down, look in that mirror, and discover what you like. Who that little girl? I know for me, as a little girl, I used to color outside the lines. I was creative as a little girl. Somewhere along the way, that died in me. I didn't know how creative I was until someone told me that I was, but I had to get in the mirror and pull that creativity out. And now my creativity that I pulled out, because every morning I get in my mirror, I look, that creativity is going to make you some money because it's already there. Your gifts will make money, not just room, they're going to make some money, but you got to get in the mirror and discover what those gifts are. And sometimes it may be you standing in that mirror and the tears may fall, the layers may come down, the bricks may fall apart, and all of a sudden you're going to begin to realize, oh my God, I like this. I like to sew. I like to write. I don't know. I like to make candles, which is what I'm doing right now. All those things, you're going to discover that, but you got to start there first, and those gifts will begin to make money for you.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. Awesome. Okay. So again, because I want to be able to remind our viewers of the takeaways, and I know that you'll be heading out shortly. So the takeaway that you want us to remind the viewers of at the end of the show. for you is to go inside. That's the first thing, right? Spend some
Yes.
time at their eye gate. I like that. I never heard that before, but I like that. The ear gate and the eye gate.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for leaving us with that nugget for keeping first things first, as people are developing that new economic reality. And I think you tied it really well with, you went just organically back to the whole foundation of all this, which is everything that we are desiring to create, to know, to have, to be is already within us. It is
Yes.
our own natural energy yield. Another way to put that, what is money? It is already there, and that those natural gifts, that natural energy, will not only make room for you, open doors for you, but it will also create money for you, attract money to you, generate money for you, on a literal and a physical, metaphysical, both sense. You agree, Latanya?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, in Juicy Spirit, we talk about the different gates as far as the ear, the eye, the the senses, and so to settle yourself is a big part of this process around money, because usually we're in a frenzy, and so Sandra is right on the money. Right on the money. I guess spirit is speaking, but so I don't know whether to say no pun intended or pun intended, but I didn't plan it that way. But anyway, yeah, sitting on definitely, settling the frenzy and the inner fears begin with facing yourself, and I know that it can be so scary. But for someone who out there is listening, if they're listening at all, because at least the people who are sitting down taking this kind of thing in, that means that you really are halfway there. A lot of times women turn their ear away from money. I know I did. The whole idea of whatever's going on around us, you bury your head in your sand, you hope that it goes away, or you just kind of get overwhelmed by it. So I think that's absolutely a great starting point from the perspective that we're discussing money. Absolutely.
Okay, so awesome. So Latanya, that was a great segue. I'd like you to take us into the rebirth process, the rebirth perspective of, because really that's what we are supporting these women entrepreneurs to do, which is tap into their femininity by going within, going beyond the outer trappings that we're often given, that we're often taken on, as you said, Sandra, about the Michael Kors. Everybody's chasing the car and the Michael Kors and the red bottom shoes and this and that. And what the juicy process does is actually give women the tools to go within. It's like, okay, I know I need to go into these different gates of myself, these different portals of myself, but how do I do that? Like from a from step one, right? The keeping first things first. This rebirth process is what really has to happen, as I see it, because I was just watching an interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and she was talking with her daughter and her mother. They were all on a panel together. You've seen that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she was really speaking to this right here about how she had to be so many things to her family and to society. Mm-hmm. And she really had to take that time, and she does it every morning, and go, okay, Jada, what do you need? Mm-hmm. Making sure she doesn't leave herself out of the equation. So, Latanya, I'd like for you to speak about that process, which is indeed juicy, and you women are going to see that in a minute. It is indeed juicy, and it is awakening. Trust me when
yes,
I tell
it
you,
is.
because Latanya is also my coach. I'm telling y'all,
Yes.
women, and when you start getting juicy and the creativity for me is what started to flow after after I did the rebirth process. My creativity heightened in a different way than I had tapped into it before. So Latanya, I'd like you to take us through that, if you would.
Well, okay. I first of all, I can just testify just to what Sandra said and anything you have already shared, about money. And I think even with us, our first presentation of what we shared last week about surrendering the idea of perfection. And what I want to present to you all today is entering into that space of transparency. After you have looked at yourself, as Sandra said, after you've spent some time with you and you've looked at yourself, the second, I guess the second principle that would apply to first things first is being able to surrender the idea of I don't want anybody in my business.
Mm-hmm.
That whole idea of shame and guilt around where you are. Because your finances, our finances, are not the sole definition of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It is a signal of our experience. So if
Mm-hmm.
we are paying attention to the signals, the signs, if we're paying attention to the pattern, then that means that there's other things that are going on. And oftentimes we are so focused on filling up the bank account or defining ourselves by what we have. Oftentimes it's not until all those things are taken away that we start to get real and to get honest. And it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to wait until you don't have the things in order for us to meet the real you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to be able to come, so many women, it takes so many women a long time to get to the place of asking for any type of help, unless somebody has proven to them that they are successful. And so, I know I want to tell you a quick story just based off of what you were talking about. Both of you were saying earlier. I was working on a contract, and we were out celebrating someone, and this brother was sharing how all his life, well, he learned to be ambidextrous, working with both hands. But the way he learned to be ambidextrous is that in the beginning, when he went to Catholic school, he said he used his left hand. Now, I didn't know this, but he said when he was in Catholic school, they believed that the use of your left hand was evil, that it was sinful, that it was dirty. So every time he went to write or color with his left hand, he was smacked on his hand and forced. I think what I heard you say, Sandra, I've always been creative, but somewhere it died in me. I thought about that story. I thought about the story of that brother because it touched me so deeply. The brother, he's no longer with us, but in that moment, he was being very transparent. That really he was a creative spirit. He really thought differently. People who use their left hand think different than a right-handed society. And so many of us have been conditioned to be one thing when we really are another. And if you don't take the step that Sandra said first to get clear with yourself, you can't come and say, help me, because I realize I have spent 30 years, if you're 30 years old, being this person, but I really, really want to be this. I cannot tell you how many people in ministry show up and they are, and I don't go looking for them, but the people in ministry, first ladies, pastors, ministers, who you become trapped by the lifestyle or that you have created your vocation rather than your avocation.
Right.
Right? So,
There we go. There we go. There we go.
That's good.
and I want to, if I could just unpack the word there a little bit, the difference, just the subtle difference between a vocation and an avocation. Well, when you look at sacred words, the word is always in it. Now you're dealing with spiritual people here, so we're going to always bring the spiritual. If you don't want that, and you want to go and you want to get the 1, 2, 3s, the XYZs, that you might want to tune in somewhere else. But check this out. Anytime you see the word anywhere, it is a sign of the divine. This is why you see the names of God always have the sound in it. But many of us have been focused on our vocation, meaning the doingness. But the vocation focuses on the beingness. Who am I? And if you don't know who you are, it's okay. It's better to say, I don't know who the hell I am. I don't know what I have to offer, because it cleans the slate. And that's what a bankruptcy is. That's why somebody who filed bankruptcy, 50 cents, and then I hush. 50.
You get ready to go there, LaTanya. Go ahead and go there. Teach the people. They came here to learn.
50 cent. 50 cent just filed bankruptcy. Now you have the chickens who are on Facebook running and saying he's broke. Broke and bankruptcy are not necessarily the same thing.
That's right.
What he did was protect his assets.
Yes.
And here you have a man running for president, is the leader of the GOP right now. I want you to see our conditioning.
That's
Donald
right.
Trump.
That's
He is leading the polls in the GOP with all of his machoism, his bravado, all of that. He's leading how many times has he filed bankruptcy?
You better say that.
A lot.
Now the chickens are running, sharing links, making jokes, making memes about 50. But that's because what we're exposing is our ignorance of understanding money. We don't understand our own natural energy yield, because you're not defined by your money. You're defined by your mindset. And so to know where you are is no shame and no guilt.
That's right.
And to be able to have the idea of this get out of my business. Most of us who believe that or believe that currently don't really have any business. We really don't have any. The business that we talk about, we protecting, really is what?
Other people's business.
Other people's opinion of us. OPP.
Yes.
Other people's property, other people's opinions, other people's their investment about who they think we are. And so, sometimes, y'all, if it hurts, we have to be able to say ouch. And so that's what this transparency is. And be careful the judgments that you make when you see the wealthy so-called have a fall. It's not like we think. There's a lot more layers that are going on when we talk about assets and liability and what real commerce is. And that's where we're getting to. We're building you to be able to put some first things first, with even the investment strategies that we're offering after each broadcast, a way for you to begin to have some real money or create real commerce in your economy.
And that's something we're going to have to revisit, because that is huge for our community, this collective community, to begin to even have conversations about. So I really want to implore the women that are watching this show to hang in with us. We do have so much in store for you. I'm telling you, the three of us combined we are a serious brain, heart, and even intuitive trust.
Ooh, I love that. Trust.
Me too.
We haven't even gotten to trust, talking about trust, but go ahead.
We are a brain trust. Don't let whatever fool you. The three of us are a brain trust. We are an intuitive trust. We are a heart trust. And we have so much to give you in the time coming, in the future with us. So you believe me, you want to hang in here. You want to keep coming back to these shows on Tuesday and your lunch break. So, okay, LaTonya, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to have more. We're going to have more because we're at the halfway point. So we have a lot more that we can delve into. So I want to talk about keeping first things first from the sacred warrior perspective, and what that is about really is, I know there are people on our show who have had life unfold, life happen. There was a time where I could say, God, I wish I was a person that was a little bit more proactive, that took these steps, but that was not my story, right? My story was one, I grew up kind of rough and tumble, and it followed me into my adulthood, right? So what that meant for me is I'm an adventurous spirit, and I got the adventure of a lifetime, right? And so by all means, it doesn't have to be that way for everyone. You don't have to wait to get a diagnosis or for something major to happen. However, there are those of us, and I think probably a lot of us, are probably wired that way from childhood, that we're not going to go into these things where we have fear. We're going to wait till our back is against the wall, and then we're going to fight our way out. And so I want to speak to the women that happen to be wired that way. And the first thing I want to tell you is have no shame about that. Have no shame about however you experience life. It is perfect. You are perfect. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that you get to explore excavation. You get another layer of excavation that you get to kind of explore. And I'm calling that being a root worker. And I know a lot of times that may have a negative and a frightening connotation. Well, so does having your back against the wall and having to fight your way out, as a woman especially, because we don't fight and we don't, that's what we're told. And we're also told that, being a root worker is something you want to be afraid of. Well, here's what I have to tell you, sisters. Being a root worker is exactly where your power is. Yeah. Being able to do what Sandra said, which is go into yourself and pull up your natural abilities. Go to your own root. If you go to the root of it, look, when we're kids in school, what do we learn? We learn root words.
Yes.
Right? We learn what is the root of this word. We learn roots in math. It's all over the place. We playing in dirt as a child. What are you going to do? You digging up and you going to the root of the plant, and it's just because it's fun. Right. But it feels good to put your hands in dirt.
Yes.
Right? But as we get older, especially as we mature and we become women, and we want to be, then we're told to be pristine, and being dirty is bad. Well, I'm here to tell you your power isn't getting dirty. Your power is in putting your hand into yourself and feeling around and what feels good and why does that feel good? What doesn't feel good? What's agreeable for me and what's disagreeable for me? And lining yourself up with those agreeable things. And sometimes that means taking a look at those disagreeable things. Because here's another thing I have to tell you. In the murky, muddy, dirty, and I don't see dirt as a bad thing, as you guys can tell. I love it. I love it. I'm an athlete, so make me sweat any day. I'm happy. I'm at my happiest, like a pig in mud, right? So getting, I lost what I was saying. I got so
You got me
good.
so happy.
Oh, I remember. Okay, so it is in the mud. That is where you will find one of the most beautiful flowers, a lotus. A lotus flower only grows in dirty, mucky, stinky, stagnant water. You cannot go to a beautiful, pristine pond, the waters of the Caribbean, and watch a lotus is not going to grow there. Now, other beautiful things will grow there, but I'm talking about a lotus. And what is so beautiful about this lovely flower? It sits on this really dirty water. And all of that stuff, all of that, the abuse, the homelessness, the cancer visitation, the starting over in whatever aspect that you start over,
Mhm.
that is where the life source is. That is where you are at during those times. We were being fed, even though we didn't know it. Even though it may be feeling debilitating to you right now, if that's where you find yourself, because that's who I'm being led right now to speak to. Whoever it is out there that's listening, that is in a place where it feels dirty and mucky and dark and dank and stank. What I'm here to tell you is, if you can work your root at that level, if you can get into what I told myself when I was going through treatment, was I will never come back here again, so I don't want to miss a moment of this. I knew there was value in this very difficult situation that it was months, it was over a year of constant physical, mental, emotional pain. But what was actually happening was a rebirth was happening. The slate was being cleared so that a new me, a new Subira could be born. I took a new name at that time. So if you find yourself in this places of starting over again, understand that is where your power is. That if you take those moments and you go in the mirror, if you're in that place, entering it or in the middle of it or finding your way out of it right now, if you will go to the mirror, do that mirror work that Sandra talked about. Look into your eyes and start listening a little deeper to even conversations happening around you, because none of it is by happenstance at this time in your life. It is here to inform you for the next phase of your life. So if you're on the show right now, right, we're going to feed you with even more and more information. But the thing is, right now, go to your root. I don't care where you are in your process. Go to the root. Be a root worker. That may mean journaling. It would do us no good right now to talk about things like trust and these things that we will get to. We will get to, because they're vital for you to really have the freedom and create what you want. But if you haven't done the inner core work, if you haven't become transparent with yourself, then as you go to create this business, trust me when I tell you, because I've done it, it's going to fall apart.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay? It's going to fall. And there's nothing wrong with that. I learned so much in the businesses that I've had in the past. I don't call them failures. They didn't work. They worked me. They took me to another place within myself, and I got some of my best lessons through the businesses that didn't work, which taught me, first of all, slow down. Slow down, Subira. Look at where you've got cracks in your foundation, and constantly look. I'm a martial artist, and as a martial artist, you work about 4 or 5 basics over and over. I've been working these 4 or 5 basics for 25 years. if I can't punch, kick, block, you see, now there are, as you develop, you can do more fancy things, and you can do it faster, and you can do it slower, and you can do it at a 45-degree angle, and but it's a block, a kick, a punch, using your breath, and knowing how to yell for help.
Yes.
Okay? If I can't do these 5 things interchangeably, for the last 25 years, I have gone back to these same basics again and again and again, back to the root of the things I've learned.
So, Subira, I have a question.
Yes.
For again bringing it back, because I know that all of us are ministers, so we may get a little inspired in our sharing. But keeping it on task as you know, as far as relating to money. When you say that you had businesses that didn't work,
Yep.
What helped you to be creative? Because whereas, you know, Sandra's talking about the inner business, I'm talking about the feminine business, and you're talking about the creative business. One of the things I know about you that I've always witnessed is you have always taken the risk to be creative, even before the cancer experience.
Mm-hmm.
So what allowed you to develop that muscle?
Mm-hmm. So I believe that an entrepreneur, I mean, while obviously I think an entrepreneur can be developed, but I also believe that there are those of us who are natural entrepreneurs, like it's an innate thing.
Right.
So like I said at the beginning when I was talking, is that I love adventure. And that shows up even in my business. So I'm always willing, and I guess that's what it is. I've been willing. The tool that I've used has been willingness.
Yes.
I have been willing to do what most people call fail. I have been willing to look like a fool. I've been willing.
Oh, now that's key. That is key. I don't want anyone to miss that.
Yes.
Because that's a big one that can apply to any of our wealth resources, including
That's
love,
right.
including you know, reinvention, which is what I specialize in, is the willingness to look like a fool. That's very, very key. Sandra, I have the same question for you as soon as Subira finishes too.
Mm-hmm. So I've been willing to take an adventure, not knowing where I'm going. I've been willing to look like a fool and sound like a fool and all of that. And I've been willing to get myself up and dust myself off, give myself some time to go and look at what worked, what didn't work. I've always had myself surrounded by brilliance. And so I've been humble enough to come to people that I believe know more than I do. I don't ever want to be the smartest one in a room. So it's important to have myself around brilliance, and so that I can go to those mentors and say, okay, I'm trying this, it's not working. What are you seeing? What are you hearing that I'm not seeing or hearing? How could I do it differently? How did you do it differently? Yeah.
Okay.
Open to advisement.
Okay. Sandra, what about you? Because you've also been a businesswoman for a long time. What would you say you had to be willing?
I had to be willing to let go, like literally jump off a cliff and let go. I had to be willing to let go of all the unforgiveness, the grudges, the hurts and pains that I've been carrying for so long, because it was weighing me down and it was interfering with my manifestation, you know, of the gifts, of the creativity that was within me. So I had to be willing to, because I was holding on and not realizing I was holding on. And when you wake up tired every morning, which I was waking up, sometimes having a hard time going to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, having sometimes crazy dreams, because God speaks to me in dreams, you know, and he was, you know, trying to get my attention. And so I had to be willing to let go of all of that, because that's the inner work. You have to be willing to let go. And I was willing to let go and forgive not only the people that I felt hurt me, but to forgive myself, because that was key for me. Even though I forgave other people, I didn't forgive me. And I kept replaying and rehearsing that thing over and over in my head, and it kept stopping me. I remember when I first stepped out and became an entrepreneur, I had contracts and was making lots of money, y'all. And then all of a sudden, it dried up. It just, the money stopped coming in. But I didn't go back to work because there was something in me that said, girl, you can still do this. I just kept, I mean, there's always a voice. I don't care. There's something in our, as a Tanya likes to call our womb, which is where our creativity is. There's something there that keeps you from going backwards. At least for me, it did. I did not, and I wanted to go back to work. Trust me, the flesh, the ego said go back to work, but the spirit woman in me said no. And so for 2 years, God kept me. But I had to do the work. So I had to let go of all of that stuff. And until you let go of that, it's going to keep that manifestation that you want. It's not going to happen. So I had to let go, really let go and go deep. As Subira said, the root, I had to get to the root of my issue. I had to figure out why is it that I keep pushing people away who want to help me, mind you. Why is it I can't figure out why I can't get to this point? And it's because I am the common denominator. When you think about what's going on in your life, everybody keeps saying the devil this, the devil that, the enemy this. Well, let me just tell you, the enemy is you.
Yes.
You are the enemy.
Yes. I do.
So
I
you got to let go of that enemy, that inner enemy. And that's what I had to let go of.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I would just, if I were to ask myself that question, for me, I mean, you all sharing really, it's so rich and so deep. One of the things that I got tired of hearing myself pray the same old prayer.
Woo. Yes.
Okay.
I got tired of hearing myself come and now I know reality creation. I know metaphysics. I know, and I just got tired of hearing myself year after year be praying about my finances, my purpose, and be in the same. It felt like Groundhog Day, and that's a part of getting in that mirror. And so I was just like, this is not, I'm not going to keep doing this. It's a dishonor to everything that I say I believe, everything I stand for, and when am I going to do it? And the thing about it, I will say, I had people around me who could see me, and I couldn't see myself. I had people around me who was like, girl, you could be doing such and such, such, such. Girl, you could be, why aren't you doing such and such, such, such? And that was getting frustrating.
Yes.
But you know, I want to say this, we tend to agree with our enemies quicker than we do our allies.
Oh my God. Woo. Now that's good right there.
Wow.
So and even if the enemy is in our own house, whether we grew up with a trauma or something, we spend our lives living in agreement with who they say we are, then spending our spinning. Look at the words we're using. We're using money language.
Yes, we are every day, all day.
We're talking about the conversation being loaded. Well, let's unload the damn conversation and start loading up our accounts, because all of us are functioning from an account. And so if you're functioning from an account, then that means that when we invest in the energy of what somebody said about us that's not true, and we need to divest from it. So when we invest in what our allies can see, and so get an ally that can see you, that can stand for you when you can't see yourself. You need people around you who can see it, because if you have ever been a person that's been talked down to, that's been abused. And I also had to give up the idea of roles that got created from my Southern Baptist upbringing about the woman is or the one and the man does and all of these things. I had to be able to surrender that so that I'm not hiding behind roles that has been created by a culture of oppression. And so I had to give up the idea of those. I had been a wife, a kept woman. I've been kept. I know what that meant. But did that push me further away from my goal or closer to it? Now people want to be power couples. That's another way of hiding. To be in your wholeness, 100% you, 100% your partner. And then to get no half and half, broken, and then we come together and get whole. No, come whole.
Yes.
So I had to surrender a lot of these hidden traps that caused me to hide myself in myself.
That was good.
That's good.
That is really good. That is really good.
Sandra has to leave us, yes?
Yes, I do. Oh my God.
Do you want to leave us with any nuggets, before you take your leave of the stage?
So much has been said, and I guess the one nugget I would say is, I know we've all said so much, and what I would say is, just don't hear it. Do something with it. If I had to say something, because we hear so much and then we do nothing with it. We've all had to say, gave you some nuggets. Take those nuggets and put some action. Because it says faith without works is dead. Put something behind that faith. Dig deep and get into that mirror, because you got to start there. Please get into the mirror and start with the transparency, digging up the root, doing all of that work. But do something with it, guys.
Yeah. And so okay. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
No, finish. But I was going to say, see them next week. So go right ahead.
Well, okay. See us all next week. But I want to make sure that if people want to get in touch with you during this week, they're able to do that. And I know you'll be leaving before we close up. So please let the folks know how, if there's a woman out there that wants to get in touch with you, how can she do that?
Well, I'm going to leave my email address because that would be the easiest way right now. So that would be Sandra, Sandram Chaney, CHANEY @gmail.com. So that's Sandra M. Chaney @gmail.com.
And it's also in the description box. All of our contact information is in the description box and in the Facebook invitation. So hopefully you'll be able to find us easy wherever you found a way to this broadcast.
Excellent.
All right, my sisters.
All righty.
Well, thank you.
We will see you next week.
Bye-bye. Yes,
indeed. Bye.
All right. So, you said something really, which I think is so important, LaTonya, and that is you spoke about taking account. And I want to just kind of touch on that before we close up the show, and how important it is. And I guess what I want to do is talk about the actual financial piece of taking account, because we've been really heavy on the metaphysical. But I want to give our community something to go away with this week that they can actually do with their finances. Okay? And so take account. So today I had to go and go shopping, and in my car, very simple, I keep an envelope, just a simple envelope. And every time I circulate currency, the dollars, I make sure I get a receipt. I don't care if I get a stick of gum and it costs 25 cents. I need a receipt, please. That does a couple of things. Number one, it gets you in the mindset of being consciously aware of, is this where I want to spend this right now? Maybe you do want a stick of gum right now. Fine. keeping a receipt will begin that accountability process with yourself or within your household if you've got a partner that you are regulating your money flow with. But that way you actually know where your money is going, and you can make some choices at the end of the week. You can say, okay, I spent so much percentage of my money on food, on entertainment, on this, on that. Is that really how I want to be circulating my currency? And that's a really, really simple thing. The other thing is, as you become an entrepreneur, you need to get in the habit of keeping receipts.
Mm-hmm.
So don't wait until you start you get your business structure, because you don't have this simple habit yet of keeping receipts. And that is one of the things you need to do to make sure that wealth stays in your business and in your household, because the government wants receipts for what you say you're running as a business. So start it now. Get an envelope, put it in your car. Every time you spend some money, at the end of the day, put all those receipts in there. At the end of the week, take account of where you spent it and make some conscious choices. Is this getting me where I want to go?
And I want to say real quick, that is a shift from being and having an employee mindset.
Yes.
And if we just substitute the word employee, unless you are absolutely doing what you love and you are working in your avocation, and it just happens to be regular employment.
Mm-hmm.
The 9-to-5 life is a conditioning. For some, it can be quite a slave mentality. And so to shift from the employee mindset into an entrepreneur's mindset is what Subira is saying, as far as tracking your receipts, purposeful spending, being able to write these things off. Those are some very small habits, and it shifts you from being just a 1040 to a 1099.
Yeah.
and how you file and how you begin to think about your life. And there are so many hidden assets that we have once we shift from that one mindset. I just had to make sure that I put that distinction in there for someone who's listening, who's been a 9-to-5er, because when I was a 9-to-5er, I didn't fully understand all of that. And I didn't go and get an MBA. I had to learn, on the job. And nor was I taught that. I know that a lot of coaching programs, they teach you how to sell. But you know what I mean? And many of us who are calling ourselves these elevated titles, but we don't know necessarily the nuts and bolts of running a business.
That's right. And so those are, some of the, at least that's one tangible nugget, under this conversation today of keeping first things first.
Mm-hmm.
You want to being in order, right? Mm-hmm. Being in order is one of the signals. I like that word that you use. That's one of the signals, not only to the universe, signal to yourself, but also a signal to the government that I am mature, I am an entrepreneur, mm-hmm. and I'd have no problem being transparent with what I'm doing, and you'll be able to actually write off so much of your regular life. Mm-hmm. You just have to know how to order your life, order your steps, the things that you are doing. And you would be surprised how much of what you're already spending money on, just by putting it in an orderly and being able to present it in an orderly fashion. They'll say, mm-hmm. Oh, that's part of your business. Write it off. Yeah. So I wanted to, to leave folks with that. And we're winding down. I want to, again, thank you so much for tuning in. For those who were watching this show live or who wanted to watch us live, I want to, being transparent, apologize for the technical glitches that I experienced today that impacted the show. And every week My intention is to do it better, and all I can do is get better. So I want to take full responsibility for that in this community, and know that I will do a better job on next week. So I want you to be able to get in touch with us. Like LaTonya said, however it is you made your way to the show, there are links on the Evite and in the description of the video. But also, LaTonya, if you want to give, if you want to vocalize a way that folks can get in touch with you, that would be great, and I'll do the same.
So if you're listening, everybody is listening from where they're sitting in their lives right now. I'm going to tell you, as much as you listen to our broadcasts in the next few weeks, there'll be some things we can't say on YouTube. There are going to be some conversations that need to be had. And I know that Subira is excellent in the creative ways to create income. She's the master of creating something out of nothing. And I love that, because sometimes we think we don't have something, and just a little something. All of us have one thing for the next 2 weeks that we want our tribe, and I know our tribes overlap, but all of us have one thing that we want you all to focus on, and that is how to take step one of creating some real money. That only will be an investment, maybe, if you want to start with $60-some. I know you all spend that at happy hour as your relief from the job that you don't like, that you need to go and decompress. And I know, especially those of you in those urban markets that have the progressive get-togethers, you have that. Some of you call it, in other markets where not a whole lot of progressive stuff is going on, you call it retail therapy. You have it. Stop declaring that what you don't have and what you cannot afford. Because a part of when you look back over your life, you get preached this every Sunday, and think things over. Isn't that what the preacher said? Every time you do that, even that little shift, that out of nowhere. And I understand that there's some people who've been homeless. There's some people who have had some dire straits. But if there is a way for you to turn a little into just an investment for yourself, reach out to us. Or if there's some conversation that you'd like to have, reach out to us at our website, on Facebook. Everything is in the description here on YouTube, and also in the Facebook events. You can find me and Subira all by our names here, if you'd like to reach out to us.
Excellent. And so thank you for that, LaTonya. And so again, thank you for your time. We're right at about an hour, so we're going to go ahead and close the show. We appreciate your time. We will be back next week, next Tuesday. That would be the 21st at 12 noon Eastern. Your Money Charmers will be back with some more nuggets, some more inspiration, some tangible things for you to do. And as always, we will end with an opportunity. We may even start beginning with an opportunity for you to engage with us and for you to begin to take that first step. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Peace, wholeness, balance.